Hello, this is Dr. Do again. This video is outside of medicine. Continue to read viewing history through reading. I'm going to continue to read. If, however, the bull has had the habit of goring and the owner has been warned but has not kept it penned up and it kills a man or woman, the bull must be stoned and the owner also must be put to death. However, if payment is demanded of him, he may redeem his life by paying whatever it demanded. This law also applied if the bull gores a son or daughter. If the bull gores a male or female slave, the owner must pay 30 shekels for silver to the master of the slave, and the bull must be stoned. If a man uncovers a pit or digs one and fails to cover it, and an ox or donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit must pay for the loss. He must pay its owner, and the dead animal will be his. If a man's bull injured the bull of another and it dies, they are to sell the live one and divide both the money and the dead animals equally. However, if it was known that the bull had the habit of goring, yet the owner did not keep it penned up, the owner must pay animal for animal, and the dead animal will be his. Protection of property. Chapter 22. If a man steal an ox or a sheep and slaughtered it or sold it, he must pay back 5 heads of cattle for the ox and 4 sheep of the sheep. If a thief is caught breaking in and is struck so that he dies, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. But if it happens after sunrise, he is guilty of bloodshed. A thief must certainly make restitution, but if he has nothing, he must be sold to pay for his theft. If the stolen animal is found alive in his possession, whether ox or donkey or sheep, he must pay back double. If a man grazes his livestock in a field or vineyard or lets them stray and they graze in another man's field, he must make restitution from the best of his own field or vineyard. If a fire breaks out and spreads into thorn bush so that it burns stalks of greens or standing greens on the whole field, the one who started the fire must make restitution. If a man gives his neighbor silver or goods for safekeeping and they are stolen from the neighbor's house, the thief, if he is caught, must pay back double. But if the thief is not found, the owner of the house must appear before the judge to determine whether he had laid his hand on the other man's property. In all cases of illegal possession of an ox, a donkey, a sheep, a garment, or any other lost properties about which somebody says, "This is mine," both parties are to bring their cases before the judges. The one whom the judge declares guilty must pay back double of his neighbor. If a man gives a donkey, an ox, or sheep, or any other animal to his neighbor of safekeeping and it dies or is injured or is taken away while no one is looking, the issue between them will be settled by the taking of an oath before the Lord that the neighbor did not lay hands on the other person's property. The owner is to accept this and no restitution is required. But if the animal was stolen from the neighbor, he must make a restitution to the owner. If it is torn to pieces by a wild animal, he shall bring in the remains as evidence and he will not be required to pay for the torn animal. If a man borrows an animal from the neighbor and it is injured or dies while the owner is not present, he must make restitution. But if the owner is with the animal, the borrowers will not have to pay. If the animal was hired, the money paid for the hire covers the loss. Social responsibility. If a man seduces a virgin who is not pledged to be married and sleep with her, he must pay the bride price and she shall be his wife. If her father absolutely refused to give her to him, he must still pay the bride price for virgins. Do not allow a sorceress to leave anyone who has sexual relation with an animal must be put to death. Whoever sacrificed to any god other than our God, one God, must be destroyed. Do not mistreat an alien or oppress him, for you were aliens in Egypt. Do not take advantage of a widow or an orphan. If you do and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry. My anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives will become widows and your children fatherless. If you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not be like a moneylender. Charge him to no interest. If you take your neighbor's cloak as a pledge, return it to him by sunset, because his cloak is the only covering he has for his body. What else will he sleep in? When he cries out to me, I will hear, for I am compassionate. Do not blaspheme gods or curse the ruler of your people. Do not hold back offerings from your granaries or your vats. You must give me the firstborn of your sons. Do the same with your cattle and your sheep. Let them stay with their mothers for 7 days, but give them to me on the 8th day. You are to be my holy people, so do not eat the meat of any animals torn by the wild beasts. Throw it to the dogs. Laws of Justice and Mercy. Chapter 23. Do not spread false reports. Do not help a wicked man by being a malicious witness. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you give a testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert injustice by sitting in the crowd, and do not show favoritism to a poor man in his lawsuit. If you come across your enemy's ox or donkey wandering off, be sure to take it back to him. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you fallen down under his load, do not leave it there. Be sure you help him with it. Do not deny justice to your poor people in their lawsuits. Have nothing to do with false charge, and do not put an innocent or honest person to death, for I will not acquit the guilty. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds those who are and twist the words of the righteous. Do not oppress an alien. You yourselves know how it feels to be alien, because you were aliens in Egypt. Sabbath laws. For 6 years you are to sow your fields and harvest the crops, but during the 7th year let the land lie unplowed and underused. Then the poor among your people may get food from it, and the wild animals may eat what they leave. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive grove. I'm going to stop here today, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.